Nutrition Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Nutrition in animals. Nutrition is the supply of food to the cells of organisms in order that they can grow as well as repair and replace worn-out tissues. We have two types of nutrition: plant nutrition and animal nutrition. In plant nutrition, green plants synthesize carbohydrates in the presence of carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll, which traps light, giving off oxygen as byproduct. This is called photosynthesis. This is significant in the equation. It involves two phases, the light and the dark phases. In the light phase, the following activities are observed. 1. The chlorophyll traps the energy. 2. The energy further splits the water into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions in what is referred to as photolysis. 3. The hydroxyl ions is reconverted to water and oxygen. 4. During this process, oxygen is liberated as a byproduct. At the same time, a compound, NADP, is reduced by hydrogen ion to NADPH, and ATP as well as adenosine triphosphate is formed. ATP is a chemical means for storing energy. During the dark phase reaction, the reaction takes place in the presence of enzymes and requires no light. The hydrogen atoms are added to carbon dioxide to form simple sugars. The uses of glucose produced during photosynthesis include: 1. Part is used up for respiration. 2. The rest is converted and stored as starch. 3. Starch can only be translocated in form of glucose and is made available to other parts of the plant in this soluble state. The significance of photosynthesis include the following. 1. The end product of photosynthesis, that is starch, sustains life as well as supplies the needed energy for all animals and other non-green plants. 2. The use of carbon dioxide by plants during photosynthesis help in purifying the atmosphere. 3. Oxygen released during photosynthesis is required by plants and animals for respiration. And 4. It stands at the bedrock for other substances. Also, there are conditions necessary for photosynthesis. 1. External conditions, and 2. Internal conditions. External conditions include water, light and carbon dioxide. Internal conditions include temperature, light intensity, soil water content, and carbon dioxide. Mineral requirements of plants include the major or essential elements and the minor or non-essential elements. The major essential elements are required in large quantities for the formation of cell walls. Examples of these include phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, calcium, sulfur, oxygen, magnesium, iron, hydrogen, silicon, chlorine, sodium, etc. The minor or microelements are required in minute quantities. Examples are boron, zinc, molybdenum, copper, manganese, cobalt, etc. However, these elements have their functions, and failure for the provision of these elements lead to its deficiency, as stated in the table. Its elements, functions, and deficiencies are also stated in this table. The nutrient cycles. Nutrient cycles are always replenishing certain nutrients. Example: carbon, sulfur, nitrogen, and water in nature. The nitrogen cycle. It involves the following states. 1. chemical nitrogen fixation. 2. Nitrogen fixing bacteria. 3. Putrefaction. 4. Nitrification. 5. Denitrification. For chemical nitrogen fixation, thunderstorms and trioxonitrate 5 to the soil by nitrogen reactant to form nitrogen 4 oxide, nitrogen dioxide with air. On dissolving in raindrops, form trioxonitrate 5 acid, that is nitric acid. It finally forms trioxonitrate 5 with metallic parts of salt in the soil. 2. The nitrogen fixing bacteria. Like Rhizobium spp and Bacillus spp, the nodules of legumes convert free nitrogen gas into soluble trioxonitrate 5 nitrates, which are absorbed through the roots. This is a symbiotic biological fixation. Also, free-living non-symbiotic nitrogen-fixing bacteria like Azotobacter and Clostridium convert free nitrogen into trioxonitrate 5 nitrates. 3. Putrefaction. The putrefying bacteria through saprophytism break down protein and organic compounds into ammonium compounds. The end products are ammonium, carbon 4 oxide, and water. 4. Nitrification. Nitrifying bacteria like Nitrosomonas convert ammonia into dioxonitrate 3, which could be called nitrites, and Nitrobacter further converts the deoxynitrate 3 nitrites into trioxonitrate 5 nitrates before it can be absorbed by plants. 5. Denitrification. This is the breakdown of trioxonitrate 5 nitrates by soil bacteria such as Bacterium denifricans. This results in the release of free nitrogen. It takes place under anaerobic conditions such as in waterlogged soil and reduces soil fertility. It is also called leaching. The animal nutrition. Animals are classified into the following groups on the basis of the food they eat. 1. Carnivores. 2. Herbivores. 3. Omnivores. Animals depend either directly or indirectly on plants for food, as they cannot manufacture their own food. They are thus referred to as heterotrophs and are said to exhibit holozoic mode of nutrition. Classes and sources of food substances. First of all, we will explain what carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores are. Carnivores are animals which feed mostly on animals. Herbivores are animals which feed on plants, whereas omnivores are animals which feed both plants and animals. Examples of carnivores include lions, wolves, etc. Herbivores include goats, etc. And omnivores, an example for omnivores is man. The classes and sources of food substances are divided into 6 groups. 1. Carbohydrates. 2. Protein. 3. Lipids or fats and oil. 4. Mineral salts. 5. Vitamins. 6. Water. Carbohydrates is a class which is responsible for energy. Examples are potato, cassava, yam, etc. It contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The general formula is CxH2O. Types of carbohydrates are 1. Monosaccharides. 2. Disaccharides. 3. Polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are reducing sugars. Example, fructose and glucose. Disaccharides are complex sugars or non-reducing sugars. Examples are maltose and sucrose. Polysaccharides are starch and cellulose. Carbohydrates have their following functions, which include 1. provision of energy. 2. Components of mucus, which is a lubricant in our body. 3. Used to build certain body parts, example, exoskeleton in arthropods. Proteins. Examples are egg whites, that is the albumin, lean meat, fish, and so on. In addition to carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, they contain nitrogen, phosphorus, and at times sulfur. They are used for growth of tissues, repair of worn-out tissues. They can supply energy as well in the absence of carbohydrates and fats. This is done by the liver. The uses include 1. Use for growth of young ones. 2. Use for the repair of worn-out tissues or cells. 3. It aids reproduction. 4. Use for the production of hormones. 5. Use for tissues and cell formation, that is bodybuilding. Fats and oil are also called lipids. They contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, just like carbohydrates, but of low oxygen ratio. They contain more calories of energy than carbohydrates, which are not as readily available. They help in insulation of the body. Examples are butter, granules, palm oil, etc. Its uses include 1. Provision of fat-soluble vitamins. 2. Supply essential fatty acids to animals. 3. Help in the maintenance of body temperature. 4. Provide energy to animals than carbohydrates. Mineral salts. Mineral salts tend to regulate the metabolism of the body. Examples are calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sulfur, sodium, potassium, chlorine, etc. Foods rich in mineral salts are onions, green vegetables, liver, egg, and so on. They help in healthy growth and bone formation and clotting of blood. Its uses include the following. They regulate the metabolism of the body. The sources, function, and deficiency symptoms of these natural salts are outlined in the table. Vitamins. Foods rich in vitamins are vegetables, milk, eggs, fruits, etc. Examples are vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and K. They are required in small quantities and are known to maintain a healthy living. Vitamin D can be synthesized by mild sunlight. In addition, vitamins are organic compounds required in small amounts. They are needed for normal growth and development. They are biocatalysts, that is the advanced chemical reactions in the body. Vitamins A, D, E, K are said to be fat-soluble, which could be called ADEC, while vitamins B and C are water-soluble vitamins. The sources, functions, and deficiency of these vitamins are also stated in the table. Water. Water is a universal solvent. Water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen. It is the medium for chemical reaction in every living organism. It helps in transportation as well as in temperature control. It can be got in nature from streams, rivers, as rain, ocean, and sea. Its uses include the following. It helps in digestion of food. It's a main component of plants and animals. It is a solvent for vitamin B and C. It aids excretion of metabolic waste. It maintains osmotic concentration of body tissues. It helps in transportation of hormones. Roughages. One may ask, what are roughages? They consist of indigestible fibrous materials from fruits, vegetables, and carbohydrates. They provide bulk to the intestinal content, thereby stimulating most of the bowels. Lack of roughages causes constipation. Sources of food. Sources of food include the following. 1. Arable farming. 2. Dairy farming. 3. Mixed farming. 4. Pastoral farming. In arable farming, it involves production of food for human consumption. Dairy farming, animals are reared just for the purpose of producing milk and eats allied products both for human consumption and for income. Mixed farming, as in the name, entails the growing of crops as well as livestock on the same piece of land. Pastoral farming involves rearing of livestock in such a settled manner so as to provide food as well as generate income. What is a balanced diet? Balanced diet contains the 6 classes of food in the correct proportions. It is therefore any diet which contains the 6 classes of food in their correct proportions, which include proteins, carbohydrates, fats and oil, vitamins, mineral salts, and water. The following are food, its tests, its observation, and its inference. Enzymes. Enzymes are proteins which act as organic catalysts, capable of accelerating the rate at which reactions take place, but are not themselves used up. They are therefore organic catalysts which speed up or increase any chemical reaction and at last are not used up at the end of the chemical reaction. Types of enzymes include 1. The intracellular enzymes, and 2. Extracellular enzymes. Intracellular enzymes function inside cells. Examples are enzymes that catalyze cell respiration inside the mitochondria. The extracellular enzymes are known to function outside cells. Examples are digestive enzymes. Classes of enzymes based on their action on a substrate. Enzymes are classified in modern time based on their action on a substrate. Classes of enzyme, its action on substrates. For isomerases, enzymes that act on isomers. Hydrolysis, enzymes that aid hydrolysis. Oxidoreductases, they catalyze the joining of molecules and have hydrolysis of high energy bond accompanying it. Lyases, enzymes catalyzing breakup of bonds. Transferases, they catalyze the transfer of substances in a general form. Ligases, they catalyze joining of 2 molecules accompanied by hydrolysis of high energy bond. Classification of digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes are based on the type of food substrates they act on. They fall into 3 major food substances: 1. Amylase, 2. Proteases, 3. Lipases. Amylase breaks down carbohydrates, e.g. ptyalin, invertase, amylopsin, and cellulase. The proteases, protein splitting enzymes, for example, trypsin, pepsin, and erepsin. For lipases, they are fat splitting enzymes which include, for example, trypsin, which could be seen in the pancreatic juice. Characteristics of enzymes include 1. They are required in small quantities. 2. Each enzyme catalyzes only one type of reaction, that is, they are specific in their actions. 3. They are protein in nature. 4. High temperatures destroy enzymes. Example, 40 degrees centigrade to 60 degrees centigrade. And they are denatured just like other proteins. 1. Proteins are soluble. 2. Some enzymes require coenzymes to activate them. Coenzymes are non-protein. And 5. Enzymes react reversibly. 6. Changes in acidity and alkalinity affect enzymes. 7. They speed up or slow down the rate of reaction. 8. Enzymes can be inactivated by inhibitors. Example, poisonous substances like cyanide and mercury. 9. they react best at optimum temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. Digestive enzymes and their function. This table tends to state the enzymes, their sources, its site of action, its substrate, its optimum pH, and end product. Modes of nutrition. There are two modes of nutrition, which include 1. Autotrophic nutrition and 2. Heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition involves those organisms that manufacture their own food from simple inorganic materials. Types include 1. Chemosynthesis and 2. Holophytic nutrition. For chemosynthesis, organisms obtain energy by oxidation of chemical substances. Examples are as follows. Sulfur bacteria. It oxidizes sulfur to tetraoxosulfatic acid, that is Thiobacillus thiooxidans. 2. Nitrogen bacteria. Nitrosomonas oxidizes ammonia or its compounds to dioxonitrate 3 nitrite, while Nitrobacter oxidizes the dioxonitrate 3 nitrite to trioxonitrate 5. 3. Ion bacteria oxidizes ion from ion 2 ions to ion 3 ions. B. Holophytic nutrition. This is carried out by all green plants through the process of photosynthesis. The heterotrophic nutrition. All animals, fungi, protozoa, and some bacteria depend directly or indirectly on autotrophs for food. They are referred to as heterotrophs. Organisms concerned depend on already made food. Examples are as follows. 1. Saprophytes. 2. Holozoic. 3. Symbionts. 4. Parasites. Saprophytes feed on dead remains of plants and animals. Example: rhizopus, mucor, fungi, bacteria, etc., releasing extracellular enzymes. 2. Holozoic. This is exhibited by animals. They take in complex organic food substances. They are divided into 1. Herbivores, 2. Carnivores, 3. Omnivores, 4. Predators. Herbivores: those animals that feed on green plants. Example: sheep, goat, cow, etc. B. Carnivores: those animals that feed on flesh. Example: dog, cat, lion, etc. And 3. Omnivores: those that feed on both flesh and green plants. Example: human beings. 4. Predators: those organisms that feed on other smaller organisms, that is, they depend on other smaller organisms for food, called prey. Example: hawks feeding on small birds, snakes feeding on rats, etc. 3. Symbionts: two or more organisms having a beneficial association, mostly as it affects their mode of feeding. Example: legumes, nodules and nitrifying bacteria, lichen, fungus and algae, and sea anemones and hermit crab. Parasites: parasites are organisms that live in, endo, or on, ecto, other animals, host, for their food or shelter, thereby causing diseases or harm to the other. Examples are body louse, bed bug, flea, tick, aphids, all ectoparasites especially, and plasmodia, guinea worm, hookworm, and all endoparasites. Parasites. Parasites are divided into plant parasites and virus parasites. Plant parasites: an example is Doda, Casita filiformis. It is achlorophilous but possesses suckers with which it attaches on its hoods. Others are fungi blights, smuts, and rots. Virus parasites: all viruses are parasitic. Examples are Many animal diseases such as poliomyelitis, foot and mouth disease, as well as plant disease such as scabs and mosaic due to virus infections. Adaptation possessed by parasites. 1. Large numbers and wide dispersal of offspring are necessary. 2. Resistance stages that can withstand unfavorable conditions. 3. A means of entry as well as a means of resisting destruction. 4. A stage of equilibrium is reached in that the parasite does not kill off all its hosts in order to continue existing. Carnivorous plants. Just like any other carnivores, they feed on smaller animals like insects. Examples are as follows. 1. Venus flytrap. 2. Pitcher plants of Nepenthes. 3. Bladderworts. 4. Sundews. The Venus flytrap. The tree-sensitive hairs, when touched, cause the folding together of the lobes, thereby trapping the organism. Digestive enzymes are secreted by the glandular hairs, which help in breakdown process. Pitcher plants of Nepenthes. The pitcher plant possesses a lid which, when insects fall into it, responds by closing up. The sac contains liquid coupled with the enzymes secreted to hasten digestion and absorption. 3. The bladderworts. Their leaves underneath the water form a sort of bladder containing trapdoors which help in trapping animals, which are in turn decomposed by bacteria before absorption. 4. The sundew. It has long hairy leaves that, when flies land on it, cause the rest to crawl over the insect and get it digested. Basically, this topic tends to teach that green plants possess chlorophyll, a pigment which makes photosynthesis possible. Non-green plants use other means of feeding, which include saprophytism, parasitism, or even insectivorous. Animals, on the other hand, do not synthesize food. They depend on the nutrients from other living things, which could be called heterotrophism. Some are holozoic, parasitic, symbiotic, etc. Enzymes are biological catalysts. They play important role in animal nutrition as they aid physiological reaction in the body.